Back in the Jungle Inferno update of October last year, one of the most overpowered weapons in the Pyro's arsenal was drastically nerfed. That was, of course, the reserve shooter. Apart from the flare gun having the ability to puff and sting easily before the update, the reserve shooter was an equal, if not better, alternative to it, being able to deal mini-crit on airborne characters, whether it be from rocket jumps, air blasts, or any method of launching someone airborne. And seeing as how air blasts are easily done with Pyro, this of course made it stupidly powerful compared to its use with Soldier. As well as its 20% faster deployment speed, it was insanely good even with 2 less shots, but that didn't really matter when you were up close dealing over 100 damage per shot. Even I used it a lot back then when it was like that, and to be honest, you can see my feelings about it change throughout some of my older videos, from using it willingly to feeling bad and disgusted by using it, and this is coming from someone who mains Pyro. Of course, like previously mentioned, this shotgun alternative got nerfed, removing the mini-crit ability to air blaster targets and changing it to affect players using the newly added thermal thruster instead, and also keep them for targets launched airborne by explosions and grapple hooks, along with a faster deploy speed and smaller clip size. You'd think that after this nerf aimed specifically for Pyro that it would ruin its use completely for the flame-throwing class. Well, not really. You see, the mini-crit ability was never removed from it, it was just changed so that the cheapness of the previous tactic was removed. Just because an easy and simple tactic to deal a ton of damage was removed does not deem a weapon useless. Worse than before? Well, of course, but that doesn't cripple the weapon to the point of not being usable at all. You see, people that play the game should know that Soldier and Demoman players can rocket and sticky jump. That right there is a perfect place for the reserve shooter to shine. There's more than plenty of chances when playing through matches that you'll see one of the two classes jumping through the air. If you're a good enough aim, you can take advantage of this and deal some decent damage to them. The faster deployment speed will also be a pretty good help to hit them before it's too late. I'm not saying this is super easy to pull off, but hey, it incentivizes getting good with the weapon more than air blasting and cheaply shooting them for a ton of damage. I haven't even mentioned the fact that air blasting a rocket, grenade pill or sticky works as well. If you manage to reflect one of these and launch them in the air with it, not only will you do a decent amount of damage from said reflected projectile, but it sets them up for an easy combo with the reserve shooter. This again will incentivize Pyros to get better with the weapon, as well as helping them hopefully get more comfortable with reflecting projectiles to set up the combo. God knows I need to get better with it as well, so again, it's a pretty good incentivizer, like I said. Anyone remember Manpower? No? Well, to be fair, I can't be surprised if you don't. I've never played it myself, and I bet I can vouch for others by saying they probably haven't either. Regardless, I'm sure you've all seen the grappling hooks in the game at least, whether it's in the actual game mode or on trade servers. They're certainly an interesting mechanic, and hey, what do you know, the reserve shooter is good against players using that. Just like the back scratcher in medieval mode, this is essentially one of the best options compared to every other choice in Manpower. Not that it really means all that much, but hey, it's something, even if not that many people really play the game mode anymore. Similar to the point earlier with Soldiers and Demo Men, the mini crits on thermal thruster pyros is pretty helpful, though this one is seen in games less frequently compared to rocket jumping and sticky jumping players. Even so, most of the time when a pyro uses the thermal thruster, they're trying to play really aggressively, as jumping into a horde of enemies like that only means they want to mow you down. This makes the reserve shooter a pretty good choice to counter and punish those players who like to jump in without thinking or are a little too aggressive. Again, it isn't going to be common, but if you see a pyro doing this, then chances are the reserve shooter is going to be a decent counter choice. Even the faster deployment speed on its own is a helpful addition. If you're up close to another shotgun wielding player, the chances are you'd be in a better position if you had the reserve shooter equipped. Compared to stock, if you're close enough, you essentially have the upper hand even with the smaller clip size, as that small fraction of time that you saved using a reserve shooter can be the determining factor in most situations. Overall, the reserve shooter is not useless. The TF2 development team simply removed a cheap tactic that was exclusive to Pyros, making it useless on its original class Soldier in comparison. Now that they've balanced it out, it is now viable on both the available classes it is equipable on, and fairer against those who fight against someone using it. Is it the best shotgun or secondary at the Pyro's disposal? Hell no, but I'd rather use it over something like the Man Melter or Gas Passer. It's one of those situational shotguns where if you're being harassed by flying players, it's best to whip this baby out. It'll certainly be a better choice than the other shotguns at least, but again, only in choice situations like these. What do you all think? Is the reserve shooter completely dead on Pyro, or do you also think that it still has a few decent uses for them, as few and far between as they are? Let me know down below. I love hearing people discuss topics that I bring up. And as always, this has been your Fempire enthusiast BonOakley signing out. See you in the next one.
Here's some of the awesome art you kind people have made. Man, look at the size of those things. Hey there, person! Check out these things above me. They seem pretty good. Anyway, I'm gonna go swim. Bye!